Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, little jingle in the back. As the presenter has mentioned, my name is Nathan Vandy. I'm head of DAO at DappRadar. And today I'm here to talk about trust and credit in the agentic economy. So we decided to give the title, Credit Given Where Credit's Due, Building a Trust Layer for the Agentic Economy. And what we're building is powered by EigenLayer AVS and the first agentic stablecoin. We'll get into a little detail about that later on. But before we get deeper, my role at DappRadar is supporting early stage projects before they launch on DappRadar. And I'm also building a protocol where we help to verify data and use that verified data for new financial applications. So let's start with the problem. The trust me bro economy. I don't know if any of you were around during the 2008 financial crisis, but it was largely due to the lack of transparency and the opaque way that credit was structured. You had these financial products which were wrapped in other financial products where you didn't really know what you were buying, and that created a massive contagion risk. And interestingly, we're going in a similar route in crypto, where even though you've got players like DeFi Llama and DappRadar, who are starting to bring more transparency to the market by sharing what the Dapp economy really looks like, there's still a lack of transparency in some of how the metrics are formed. Additionally, the other problem is that liquidity isn't dripping. We're here right now in DefaiCon, focused on DeFi agents and the intersection between the two, AI and DeFi. And you have agents like Arma who are making consistently around 15% APR. But compared to other DeFi primitives, they don't have a lot of liquidity going to them. And this is the same for the other side of the market, RWAs, such as TrueFi, where TrueFi, which is a credit protocol that I've worked out for the past 2 years on their board, they've tokenized 1.7 billion worth of under-collateralized loans. But in the RWA space, there's a lot of supply-side liquidity, but not a lot of demand-side liquidity going in. And once again, both of these spaces, RWAs and agents, are facing an issue with trust and verifiability. And we can't see it at the bottom, but this is the hyper bull case for RWAs and agents. In 2030, it's set to be a $30 trillion market for RWAs if we're able to get the compliance rail set up. As we're starting to see with the MiCA regulation in Europe, the VERA regulation in Dubai, and also the Genius Act in the US. We're going to be able to bring in a ton of the capital market to crypto. And it's the same with agents. But once again, we're going to need verifiability to do that. And therefore, what we're building at DappRadar is a way to verifiably prove or challenge data. And this is powered by EigenLayer. I don't know if any of you guys know EigenLayer. It's a new primitive within crypto that pretty much works like a blockchain does. Just as a blockchain allows you to verify transactions, EigenLayer allows you to stake crypto economic capital behind data, behind events, in order to put your money where your mouth is. And so what we're building at DappRadar is a way to verify the performance of agents and eventually assets utilizing EigenLayer. It's an incredible technology, and it's going to allow us to accelerate the amount of capital that can come into the market. And we don't want to just build a protocol. We want to build a product on top of it. And we're doing that with a credit and stablecoin product, where we're going to be able to utilize the scores that we give to agents who are also businesses and provide them credit and use the verifiability of their performance to create a risk-adjusted leverage through the first agentic stablecoin. So just a little bit more information from the BIS. I don't know if any of you guys know the BIS, the Bank of International Settlement. It's the central bank of central banks, basically. And they recently did a paper called Towards the Verifiability of Total Locked Value in DeFi, where they mentioned players like DappRadar and DeFi Llama. And both of us use community-driven approach and open source methods to aggregate our data. But one thing that they mentioned is that only about 46.5% of the protocols have TVL that can be fully verified on chain. And that is a scary statistic. If only 46.5% of protocols have TVL, we're creating a contagion risk in the future once we start getting more capital into the market, where you don't actually know whether the TVL can be substantiated. We've already seen a lot of issues in this, where you have some protocols and tokens that have low float, high FDVs, where you don't actually understand the long-term value of the token because of how the TVL is calculated. And I don't know if you guys followed the Manta situation, where because of that miscalculation of TVL, there was a huge crash in the price which affected consumers. And these types of situations really undermine the ability for crypto to become mature enough to be able to bring in the trillions into the crypto rails that we eventually want to see. And this emphasizes why a protocol that verifies data in such a way is so important. And this is how it would work. We would submit the agent or an asset to understand their metadata to get evaluated. And then if someone wanted to actually stake or put their money where their mouth is, they would be able to rate by being a curator or use their AI to score an agent and use the Radar token or any token that we partner with to be able to put their money where their mouth is and push that score to the AVS. And once the AVS has verified that score, that agent would be able to unlock a vault where that agent would be able to get credit. So DeFi agents which need money to make more money would be able to get that more money to make more money. And last but not least, we would be able to add a stablecoin on top of that, so that when allocators are providing capital to agents, they would be able to mint a stablecoin so they can stay liquid whilst they loan. And so this is how the AVS structure would look like. It's a little bit difficult to get into for just the presentation, but this is the first structure of how someone would be able to push the score. It would get queried, and then once it's been queried, it gets pushed to the validation service, where they'll be able to get the attestation and be able to verify their score. We can get into more detail on that later on if you're interested. But let's get into more detail about how the product would look like on top of the protocol. So, as I mentioned, we want to be able to use this verification and trust to allow people to loan to agents while staying liquid with this agentic stablecoin. And this is life before this product, where you have allocators or investors that are looking to provide money to DeFi agents to find yield opportunities and then provide that yield back and give it to the investors. But there are hundreds of DeFi agents that are here, and you don't really know which one to trust. And so this is where we come in. We give a credit score to the agent, and you can see which agents have what credit score and see the master vaults of those agents. And instead of all of these investors needing to go to all of these different agents, they can use this credit score, go to the master vault, deposit their money, which goes to the agent, and they can mint the stablecoin whilst they're doing so. And it works pretty similar to MakerDAO. And so why are we doing it now? Well, the infrastructure is ready for it. You have AVSs, which are finally here, which allow us to verify trust and verify credit. You've got the market demand, where the agent and the RWA economy is starting to explode, and agents need credit to scale. And it really aligns with our vision. We want to rate like Moody's, we want to lend like Morpho, and we want to mint like Maker. And so this is our roadmap to just give you a high-level overview. We've already started testing the scoring to an AVS, and we're working with EigenLayer and some partners quite deeply. And we already have some really strong RWA partnerships in the 8 to 9 figures. And so next in Q4, we want to have already scored 100 plus agents and 10 DeFi agents, providing them with credit scores. We've already got some RWA deals in the 8 figures that we're looking at right now. And we already want to put the Agentic stablecoin on testnet. By Q1 2026, we want to have onboarded 3 RWAs that we can also score on top of scoring the agents with our AVS, and then just evolve the AVS design over time as well. And by Q2 2026, we want this rating and verifiability layer to be a benchmark that people utilize. And so, yeah, that's the main gist of what we're building. It's very exciting, it's very early, but we've already got a ton of momentum. We've got some soft investors that are working with us and some angels that are working with us as we build this new primitive. As we've said, it's a $1 trillion market, but we're taking the Amazon approach of focusing on the bookstore before we go for the entire market. So we're focusing on agents, which are a primitive that people aren't really considering as an asset to provide credit to. And so we're looking for AI agent builders like the Yield Yeti guy that we'll connect with afterwards, agent operators and validators for our AVS, and any potential investors that are looking to get in on the ground floor. It's a really exciting time, and we're happy to be building on the ground floor with you guys. Thank you so much.